today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how I get my brows to go from this to this. So stay tuned. I'll be showing the products that I use to do my brows, the technique that I use to do my brows, and then just a little bit of knowledge about why I use the products I use. So stay tuned. Okay, so for the first thing I should mention about my brows, if you will notice, the tail end of my brows don't really grow in all the way as I would like them to. They've never grown in that way, even from I was really young. I don't know why. So what I do is I just make sure that I clean up the area. I used to get threaded and I used to do waxing. I no longer do either. On a rare occasion, I may go get threaded just to clean up around the area really quickly. But if I have time, I'll sit down and I will tweeze. So I use my handy dandy, my favorite tweezers, my Tweezerman tweezers. And these are the pointed tip tweezers, not the slanted. I find that when I use the slanted tip tweezers that I get broken hairs. So they'll snap before they actually pull out of the skin, and that can cause ingrown hairs, pimples, that kind of stuff. So I don't love that. I use these because it causes a cleaner pluck. Like, I find that the hairs will come directly out of the skin using this one. It's a more precise plucking experience. So I do that and I'll just clean up around the area. And then to actually do my brows, I use my 266 MAC liner brush. So it's the angled liner brush like this. It's super thin. And then the actual products that I use for my brows. Now, this is probably the most shocking part of how I do my brows, and people seem to be boggled by how I use this to do my brows. But I find that different products can be used for different things, and I just found that this works for me and it might work for you too. I have really oily skin, and throughout the course of the day my forehead will get super shiny. So in addition to obviously like blotting and stuff like that, I have to find products to do my brows that can be waterproof or that can withstand the oils that come from my skin. So when I do my brows, I had to find something that was waterproof. So I decided, okay, well, I use waterproof eyeliner for my eyes. Why can't I do the same with my brows? So I use Annabelle liquid eyeliner in precision felt tip. I don't use the brush that comes with it. I just use the product or the felt tip that comes with it. And I also do not use the color black. Never use black eyeliner or any black pencil or anything of that nature to do your brows. Very rarely do you have black brow hairs, and even if you do, I would still err on the side of using a dark brown or a brown versus using a black, just because your skin tends to warm up pigments in makeup anyway, and over the course of the day, the colors, just like if you put paint on a wall, as it dries, it will get a little bit darker. Same thing with doing your makeup. Over the course of the day, your makeup will get a little bit darker, so it's better for you to go err on the side of using a little bit lighter of a shade, because it will warm up over the course of the day. So I use the color Espresso along with my liner brush, and I just fill my brows how I like them to be done. Makeup like foundation I had left or pressed powder I had left on the sponge that I used to apply my foundation, I would just go back over the center part of my brow and I would just lightly dab it on there just to make that area a little bit lighter than the rest of the brow area, just because naturally your brows don't grow in super thick right at the beginning of the brow area, right? So I will just go ahead and, oh, another thing. A reason why I also opted from using a waterproof liner or eyebrow pencil is because eyebrow pencils tend to be waxy. Now, I mentioned before I have oily skin, and over the course of the day your face gets warm. Now, logically speaking, I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else, but when I thought about it, wax and heat melts wax, meaning my eyebrows will melt off my face. So I just chose not to do that. Same thing with powders. Like I said, I have really oily skin, and powders tend to change color over the course of the day, and even more so if you have oily skin, the oil will make the powder much darker than what you intended. So I can't really, it was hard for me to gauge how I wanted my brows to look, how light of a hand I should have doing my brows with powder versus using the pencil, and it was just really difficult to figure all of that out. So I found this method, and I've been doing this for, I want to say about 3 years now. I've been using these two products, or this product, to my brows. So I'm gonna go ahead and start filling my eyebrow. So I just take the felt tip and I take my brush and I just get some of the product from the felt tip onto my brush, just rubbing it along the felt tip. And then I just, sorry, I have my mirror over here, and then I just fill in the area. And I use really light strokes. You don't need a heavy hand when doing this. And I feel like it's really important to follow the natural arch of your brow. Don't try to go and make too intense of an arch in your brow if it's not how your hairs naturally form. Go with the natural shape of your brow, or consult a brow specialist. Like, I would go into maybe your local wax lady and get her to make a shape in your brows for you, and then just maintain the shape by tweezing. But I wouldn't suggest to try to formulate one on your own, because the idea you may have for your face shape may not be what suits your face. So go and consult somebody who's seen, you know, a number of different brows and how they work with different face shapes, etc., etc. Now, I will say, you need to have a steady hand to do this. Okay. And another brow rule too. Your brows are supposed to be sisters, not twins. So They don't need to look identical, but for the most part you want them to look clean and nicely arched. So when I'm done filling in my brows, just like that, so I would do this on both sides obviously, but I've already done this side. So once I've done that, then I like to go back and do just an extra little step. So I like to put just a little bit of my concealer just under my highlighting concealer, just under my eyebrow, just right here, just to give it a little bit more of a pop and look a little bit more clean. So I use my Makeup Forever Full Cover Extreme Camouflage Cream, concealer cream, and I literally just take like a little dot like that and just put that right under there, and I just use my finger for this. When I do my makeup, my brows are the second to last thing that I do. I usually do my mascara very last, but my brows I would do just before I do my mascara. So I will do all of my I will do all of my eyeshadow and, you know, applying my blush, foundation, all of that first. I will set it and then do my brows very last, just so I can give my face time to warm up with the other things that I've already put on my face, so I know exactly how to gauge how much product to use, because I find that when I do my brows first, because my skin is so much more pale in the winter time, or before I put my foundation on, I will be too heavy-handed with the brush, and then when I go to put the rest of everything else on, my eyebrows don't match. How can I say this? Not necessarily that they don't match, but they're a little bit too dark in comparison to what I'm trying to achieve, my normal look that I go for on my face. So that is how I do my brows, and I hope you guys enjoyed my tutorial, and stay tuned for more. Bye guys.